Hello and welcome to Near Dark Podcast, episode 24, and today we're going to do a double feature on John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982 and The Thing from 2011. But before we do that, let's welcome our scientists.
Hey,
Hello.
how are you doing, Angel?
Oh god.
Great
Okay,
start.
I'm fine. How are you, Zombie?
I'm doing great. How about you, Joseph?
Besides feeling more dead than alive, I'm okay. I guess I woke up like 2.5 hours ago, so I don't, I'm not awake yet.
I think we're gonna have to change nicknames here.
Near Sleep Podcast.
No, I meant that you said you felt more dead than alive, so...
Near Dead Podcast.
We're all dead inside.
Yeah, and on a side note, the two other gentlemen aren't here today because reasons, hopefully
Unknown to the public.
Yeah, they are MIA in the Vietnam jungle somewhere. But hopefully they'll be on the next show, which we will reveal at the end of this episode.
Yeah. So, let's roll into recently seen. I have actually not been watching anything besides Twitch and YouTube since the last recording, because I'm fucking boring like that.
Wait. We watched The Omen, though.
Oh yeah. We were doing a birthday celebration of our birthdays together and watched The Omen from 73, I think?
76.
76, right, yeah. And I must say it was a real slow burner for those who haven't watched it. If you don't like movies that touch on the religious things, don't watch it. Other than that, I think you should watch it to have watched it for being a classic. But I didn't like it. I can see why people hype it as like one of their favorite movies or that's a really great movie. Because I'm just like, huh?
What did you think about it, Tommy?
I really like the first kill of the movie.
I can agree on that one.
Yeah.
Whatever it's called,
Babysitter.
Yeah, the babysitter who hangs herself.
Yeah. It was I worth the watch, to say the least. But I'm not sure if it was my kind of movie, but yeah, it's not really bad, but rather slow going at times. But yeah, that's about all I have to say about that movie.
Yeah, well, I have also seen The Omen. I've actually seen all of them, all four, and the remake. It's been a while since I saw them, but I liked the first two, and I actually liked the fourth one as well. The remake is pretty unnecessary. It's basically the same movie as the original, just updated. The actors are updated, and it's. I can't remember if it takes place in modern time or if it's set in like the 80s or something. I can't remember, but it's okay for what it is, but it's unnecessary. The third one, on the other hand, is just a snore fest. There's like a part in the movie where Sam Neill's Sam Neill is playing Damien in the third one, by the way. He's also in Jurassic Park, and Jurassic Park 3, and In the Mouth of Madness, and Escape Plan with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. But he plays Damien in Omen 3. I think it was called something. It wasn't called Omen 3, it was called something else. But it's known as Omen 3, like, at least here in Sweden. But yeah, there's a part where he has a monologue that feels like it's going on forever and forever. It's just blabbering about God, hell, heaven, hell. It's just
the basic religious shit.
It's just a really, really slow and boring movie. The second one is the Omen 2. That's actually a bit like, well, sort of a proto-slasher almost. The Omen could be seen as a proto-slasher, since there is a body count, but the deaths are basically accidents, or it's like a precursor to the Final Destination movies, basically, with a religious angle to everything. But yeah, I do enjoy most of the Omen movies, and I'm not a huge fan of these type of the Hallelujah religion type of horror flicks, but I grew up with the Omen, so I guess that's why I like the movie. And I do love the Death of the Priest. That's one of the best death scenes from the 70s.
Right.
Yeah, it was
I can see that.
okay.
I can see
It's
that.
just like not too interesting. I do agree. The first stuff was great. I didn't see it coming or anything.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere, really.
Yeah, it's like you.
I'm doing
I
this for
think
you,
if you-
Damien, or whatever she shouts.
Yeah, she's like, I love you, Damien. I'm doing this for you, and then just jumps, and it's great. It's really, really great. And usually, like, you see stuff coming along when it's stuff like that, but this, I didn't see it come at all. But I think if you really try and pick the movie apart and like re-watch it maybe 2, 3, 5 times, you might see the small hints about it.
Yeah. Like I said, I haven't watched it for a couple of years now, so I can't remember.
Zombie, do you have any other recently seen?
No.
Okay. Yes.
Short and sweet. Yeah, I do. I sat down and rewatched the first 6 installments in the Child's Play series. I know you're a huge fan of that series, Angel.
I mean, honestly, who cannot like a fucking killer doll running around, killing people, and for what is like 3 fucking movies trying to kill the same child over and over again, and he keeps on failing.
Yeah, well, that's
Chuck is great.
well, that's the formula for a slasher franchise, and Child's Play is a slasher franchise.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Have you seen the latest installment of the Child's Play series?
No, because you and me were supposed to watch all of the movies, but that never happened.
Yeah. Well, I actually saw it, Cult of Chucky. And
Yeah,
I loved it.
hmm?
It was a lot of fun. Curse is a bit darker than it's not just a bit. It's a lot darker than Bride and Seed of Chucky.
Yeah, but Seed of Chucky is, I believe, a comedy,
Yeah.
like a horror
Yeah, well,
comedy.
Bride is basically a comedy as well. The very dark comedies.
Yeah.
While A Curse is a straight up horror slasher flick with some dark humor in it, but it's mainly a dark, a darker slasher flick, like the original. And the first time I saw Curse, I really didn't like it. I thought it was, it was a bit sloppy. I thought, but
Wait, Curse, isn't that the one with some chick in a wheelchair?
yeah, Fiona Dourif.
Yeah, I remember the
Brad
first time.
Dourif's daughter.
Yeah, the first time I watched it, I thought it sucked fucking ass. No, honestly, like I didn't enjoy it at all. The only thing I remember, it's a girl, a wheelchair, Chucky, and some really old elevator. That's all I remember. The rest I'd push out of my mind because it sucked so much.
Well, I rewatched it a couple of times and it has grown on me.
You're weak, I tell you. You're weak.
No, I just enjoy slasher flicks. And then there is a really great line in that movie. The little girl in the movie says it. Chucky says, "Life's a bitch and then you die, bleeding like a stuck pig." And that line just makes me break out a big laugh. I just, yeah.
Oh, that's glorious.
Yeah, that's typical Chucky. That's a typical Chucky line. But anyway, Cult of Chucky. I thought it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. It's more like Child's Play 2 and 3, where it is pretty dark, but at the same time it's silly and a bit funny at times. It takes place 4 years after Curse, and it picks up with I think her name was Nika, Fiona Dourif's character. She's placed into a mental hospital, and her doctor tries a new therapy tool, which is a good guy doll. And pretty soon the inmates in the asylum starts to turn up dead in seemingly suicidal ways. It looks like they've committed suicide. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. You should watch it. And the reason I sat down and rewatched all of them and watched Cult is because we got 2 new Child's Play movies next month. The first one is called Charles, and it doesn't have anything to do with neither Don Mancini's franchise, the series, nor the remake, which will be released at the end of next month, where Mark Hamill is doing the voice of Chucky, and the doll is called Chucky in the remake. But it's sort of I don't know if it's a semi-remake or if it's a low-budget remake or something. It's not a continuation and it's not a spin-off. So I guess it's sort of, a low budget remake or something. I will watch it and come back later on.
Yeah, I mean, if it's going to the theater around here, I'm gonna try and watch it at least.
Yeah, but
Even though
I'm talking about the Charles movie, not the Charles
yeah,
movie.
I'm talking about both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
horror movie going at the theaters and fucking
yeah, well,
go.
I will watch both of them when they has come out. Sammy, have you seen the Child's Play franchise? Are you a fan?
Not yet.
Not yet. Well,
I will. It's on my bucket list.
yeah, well, you
As
will,
of right now.
you will fairly soon.
Yeah, we've already started on Friday the 13th. We have already started Halloween. We're already started Nightmare on Elm Street.
We have started a lot of places, but finished never.
Yeah, like we're on the second Friday, I think, second Nightmare, and third Halloween.
Yeah.
So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Slowly but surely.
Well, there's a lot of movies to sit down and take a look at.
Yeah.
And then, well, let's continue on. I also watched, I sat down and had a double feature with 1980s Crimes in the Night, aka Funeral Home. Starring Leslie, I think her last name is Donaldson, perhaps. She plays a 16-year-old girl who goes to her grandmother because her grandmother is gonna turn a old funeral home into a bed and breakfast. And,
yeah, right there sounds like a fucking great idea.
And pretty soon the guests of this bed and breakfast starts to vanish, and some of them turns up dead. I don't think you'd like it, Angel. This was a real slow burn. It's really, really slow, and it was kind of cheesy at times, and it was somewhat fun, but the body count was very low, and at times I had a hard time not picking up my phone and start to surf on the phone instead of watching the movie. And the biggest problem I had with watching the movie, not the movie itself, it was the print I was watching on. It was a really shitty DVD. The picture quality reminded me of something like the eighth generation VHS tape or something, because everything was just very dark and I can't really describe it, but it looked like crap. But on the other hand, I don't think I had any hurry to rewatch it, even though I had seen it in crystal clear picture,
like 4K or whatnot.
Yeah, but the ending was somewhat fun. But the identity of the killer was very easy to finger the killer.
It sounds like you like fingering a lot of people.
I do. I do. And Mortuary from 1983, starring Bill Paxton, late Bill Paxton, and Linda Day George and Christopher George. I think it was filmed in 1981 or 82, but it was shelved for like a year or two, and released in 1983. And this was the last movie released with Christopher George, because he died in 1983 from a heart attack, I think. And it's about this girl who's convinced that her dad was murdered and by the family's swimming pool, and it wasn't an accident that everyone thinks. And she starts to investigate it with her boyfriend, and someone in a black hood starts to stalk her. And it's so goddamn obvious who the killer is. It's not even funny. It's a lot of cheese in this one, and there's some suspenseful scenes, and you know, I had a pretty rough time getting through this one as well. I don't know if I was in a bad mood or something, because you know I usually like these kind of movies, but overall it felt like a bit of a meh, and I won't have any hurry to to revisit that movie either, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the last thing I've at least tried to watch is The Walking Dead, of course. I'm almost done with season 6 now. I'm coming up on the last stretch.
Yeah, it's... Honestly, I'm gonna say, like, it's kind of rough until you get... No, I remember... Season 6, there's not a lot of action.
Yeah, there's a lot of action in season 6. But I've been busy with a lot of other things, and
but it's kind of like the end stretch of a season is kind of like, do I really want to do this? Do I really want to put myself through this? But when you can like get over that little hill and you just like start watching, and you continue watching like crazy.
When I'm done with season 6 of The Walking Dead, I think I'm gonna jump on season 3 of a slasher that got released, I think it was earlier this week.
Yeah, it was sometime this week.
Yeah.
Still need to get my thumb out of my ass to watch that.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of good things about at least the first episode of season 3 of Slasher, so I'm looking forward to that.
I have heard jack shit about the series, but its name is Slasher, so I mean...
we had talked about the first 2 seasons earlier on the show.
I don't remember what I did yesterday. How do you expect me to remember what the fuck we talked about 6 months ago? This is why I keep logs.
Well, you should.
I will.
Good. But yeah, that's everything I watched, basically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I still need to finish Grimm. I believe I have a season and a half left or so, or if it's 2 seasons. It kind of got a downhill where I kind of like, I don't really feel like watching. You know, it's kind of like when a series gets this slow part where they have fill episodes. It's like, but yeah. So, I believe we should roll a trailer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to take up my cheat sheet. So, here's Baby Sharks.
Baby Shark, what?
No, okay. Here's the trailer.
For which movie?
Oh, shut up. Here's the trailer for The Thing from 2011.
48 hours ago, we found something quite remarkable.
What'd they find?
There's a structure
In Antarctica.
and a specimen.
Really?
Touching down.
This is Kate Lloyd's, Columbia Paleontology.
Let me show you why you flew 10,000 miles. We estimate it's been here 100,000 years.
I'm going to take a tissue sample.
Do you really think that's a good idea?
Yes, I do. You, my friends, will all be immortalized as the people who made this discovery.
Did you hear that?
My God.
Somebody was attacked.
But it seems everyone is fine.
Either someone miraculously healed themselves, or someone is not who they say they are.
What was it doing to him?
It's imitating his cells. I think this thing copies its prey and then hides inside it.
What are you saying?
Not all of us are human. Could be any of us. We can't let this thing leave. If it makes it out of here, millions of people could die.
Pillow the...
Pillow?
Yes! The Pelagulist, no. The paleontologist, yes, that's a hard word, Kate Lloyd is invited by Dr. Sander Halvorson.
Yes.
Jesus. To join his team, who have found something extraordinary. Deep below the Arctic ice, they've found an alien spacecraft that might have been there for 100,000 years. Not far from where the craft landed, they find the remains of the occupant. It's cut out of the ice and taken back to their camp, but as the ice melts, the creature reanimates and not only begins to attack them, but manages to infect them. With team members devolving into the alien creature. Jeez. No habla English today. Okay, so excuse me for the really bad synopsis for episode 11, but who cares? It's over. I'll start with my thoughts about this movie. I do like it. It's a good movie. The effects are great and the makeup is great and whatnot. The monster is great. It's a good movie. I recommend anyone to watch it. It's an 8 out of 10 spaceships for me.
Hey.
Like, it's good. I mean, as we were watching it, because me and Zombie usually watch the movies together, because I get unfocused if I don't have company.
Because reasons.
Because porn exists.
Yes.
Anyways, it didn't feel like any time was passing at all like, we started the movie and boom, all of a sudden, an hour had gone. And it's just like, wait, what? Because there's so many things happening all the time. People get killed. People insult other people. People think other.
That's a great selling point for the movie. Everyone is insulting everyone.
I should write, like, why should you watch this movie?
It's sort of
people insult each other.
Yeah, it's sort of like this podcast.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, there's almost always something happening, and there's almost never a dull moment. They don't really have that much fill space in the movie. I think maybe they have 2 scenes where they're filling maybe a few minutes, but then bam, boom, something happens. Someone dies. Someone accuses someone of being the monster and whatnot, and there's a shit ton of fire, and it's fucking good. It's good. Yeah. So 8 out of 10. Zombie, it's your first watch of it, I believe?
Yeah.
Tell us how good it is.
I did genuinely like it, and as you said, you got really sucked into the movie and what happens in it, that you don't feel like time is passing, which doesn't really happen much for me when watching movies. So I was really happy when I did catch up that time actually passed. And the acting was good. The special effects were like it wasn't amazing, but it was very, very good, but not amazing. And it had likable characters that you actually did. Some characters you actually did care if they lived or died to some extent. And the music wasn't really like anything spectacular, anything memorable. It was very basic, like very much trumpets and whatnot at jump scares moment. But yeah, I did really like the monster and just the concept alone of the monster. It's very good. Which, because it can cause so many different possibilities. So yeah, I didn't really enjoy the movie, so I would give it a 7.5 out of 10.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Excuse my cat if you can hear her.
We got pussy on the show.
Purr.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody get the fuck out of here. We want the cat instead.
So, Joseph, what did you think about the movie?
I've seen this movie a couple of times, and I like this prequel to John Carpenter's The Thing. Is it necessary? No. Is it entertaining? Yes, I think so. I don't think it's on par with Carpenter's movie, but it gets the job done. And I also think that it captures some of the paranoid and claustrophobic feel that Carpenter's movie have. It's really well acted, and I like the fact that the Norwegian guys are actually talking Norwegian. You know, in a lot of American movies where characters are portrayed as, for example, Germans. They only speak English even if they are speaking to each other without, any English-speaking people around them. For example, World War II movies.
Yeah, just with a German accent.
Yeah. Another
like...
good example is Enemy at the Gates, where the Russians are only speaking English with quote unquote Russian accents, and the Germans are also speaking only English with quote unquote German accents. So I actually thought that was a pretty nice touch to the movie.
Yeah, it's kind of like, why would they speak English to each other when no one else is around?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, exactly. I also like the fact that they've stayed true to Carpenter's movie, and that they made up scenes that explains the remains they find in that movie. Not going into Carpenter's movie yet, but you know, when MacReady and Doc finds some of the remains after the creature in that movie, they have made scenes in this movie that explains what happened.
Yeah, like,
and
they reuse it and whatnot.
Yeah, they designed the camp after the pictures from the Carpenter's movie. And they just, you know, they rebuilt. I can't remember what the word is, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
What I don't like with the movie is that all of the effects are CGI. I actually think that all of them stands out like a sore thumb, because you can really tell everything is CGI. And, you know...
Yeah. I can see what you mean.
Yeah. And the fact that the studio thought it was a good idea to replace the practical effects that were originally used with CGI just makes me mad. Because from when they were filming the movie, they used practical effects for everything. And the idea they had was that they just gonna use some CGI here and there, just, you know, the tentacles and things like that, if it looked too hokey. But at last minute, and this is background things, but in the last moment before the movie was finished, the studio stepped in and said, "No, we're gonna put in CGI instead." And they had to reshoot some scenes because the studio interference. So this was a troubleshoot, basically. But overall, yeah, I think it's a good monster movie. It definitely is. It's not, like I said, it's not on par with Mr. Carpenter's remake from 1982, but it's good. It's a good little monster movie, basically. And my rating is like yours, Zombie, 7.5 out of 10. So you're at the top this time, Angel.
Yeah, for once I'm ending up on the top. Because I'm usually the one just bashing the shit out of the movie and just like kicking it in this dead fucking cow ass.
What?
You know how you say, like, you want someone to do something, it's... Oh yeah, no, it's horse ass. Yeah, because I mean, it's like, how can I say? It's like kicking a dead horse in the arse or something like that.
You mean a dead pig?
No, horse.
Okay.
Cat cameo.
Stop kicking animals, please.
It's dead, it's no feel shit, okay? Yeah, no, I think it's a good movie. Okay, so let's go into scenes. I like something I like about this one is that they don't try to capture it alive, because a lot of things you see in modern movies where it's like aliens or whatnot, they try to capture it alive for scientist reasons. But in this one, it's like, okay, yeah, you know what? We need to kill this. We need to fucking obliterate it from the face of the earth. So that's something I like. And I must say, like, the scene at the alien ship, I thought it was too long. And that's like one of the scenes I think is one of the few filler scenes where they run around on the fucking spaceship and nothing is happening until she starts being chased. But then that's also just like, eh.
It felt very cookie cutter, the ending.
Yeah, that was just like, okay, this is why.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually agree with you. I actually thought the climax of the movie was a bit meh.
Yeah.
Because, you know, there's no real danger to the main character. Spoiler if you haven't seen the movie, Kate.
Yeah.
You know she will survive everything.
Yeah, I mean, she is the only woman in the movie, and...
Except for she who died really early.
Well, fuck her. Because, I mean, it's... okay, what was it called?
Final girl?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, she's one girl amongst, 15 guys, and everyone gets picked off one by one, and she keeps on living. It's like,
And the other girl was a obvious side character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know she's gonna live, because she is the one who gets called in to look at this thing they have found in the eyes.
Yeah.
There is something I actually feel like they shouldn't have included women in this movie, because, I mean, in the first one they didn't either.
That was actually what I was thinking as well. Because not going into Carpenter's movie yet, but in Carpenter's movie, when they look at the documentation and the videos the Norwegian team was filming, there are only men. Putting 2 women in there, nothing against women, of course, but if they wanted to stay 100% true to Carpenter's movie, they should have just skipped the women and just have an all-male crew. And another thing I was thinking that they should have just gone with only Norwegian actors in this movie as well, because, you know, it's a Norwegian base, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, if they hadn't included any American or British actors in this movie, I think it would have put off some American viewers.
Yeah, I think if they would have made it an all Norwegian cast, that the movie would have been smaller than what it is.
Yeah.
And most likely not of interest to, overall, like, I think the northern lands like Sweden, Norway, Finland, Denmark would probably be the biggest viewership this movie would have gotten, unless they wouldn't have taken in.
Yeah, it would have been more of a Nordic movie, even though it's filmed. I think it's filmed in America, or if it was filmed in Canada, I can't remember.
I'm not sure if they filmed it in the same place, but if it was in the same place, it was in Colombia. British Columbia.
Yeah, that's America.
Yeah, it's like
it's not filmed in Antarctica?
Oh no!
I've been lied to. This movie sucks.
Okay, so anyways, that's my points. Anyone feel like taking over?
Somebody, do you have anything?
I didn't really have anything like specific other than I really did like Lars throughout the whole movie.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I just really loved him, and it was like, no, don't die. And spoiler, when he did come back, I was like, yes, yes.
Yeah, we were like talking about different characters, and one of the guys he's Norwegian, and he is casted in a Swedish crime series called Beck. This guy, he was my favorite guy, and for the whole fucking movie, we were like talking about different characters and like, oh, this is my favorite character and this is your favorite character, and then he goes and dies. and Zombie turns to me and says, "I'm Beck now." and I was like, no, just no.
Look at me, I am back now.
Okay.
Doing a parody of what is?
I'm the captain now.
Yeah, of that.
I know where it's from, but it's from somewhere.
I don't remember what it's from either. Anyways, yeah.
Okay.
Continue about your love for Lars.
Well, I don't really have anything other to say. I just really loved him, and his "I take no shit" attitude. Also, that scene when the alien finally erupted from the ice, the only thing I could think of was, hey, new bathtub. A really cold one, but take what you have.
I got that scene on my list here as well. I think actually that scene is quite effective and somewhat suspenseful, because it happens so fast. The only problem I got with that thing is that scene is that they changed the angle. If they just had the same angle throughout the entire scene, just before the thing crashes up into the roof, it would have been perfect. Because it just happens so fast and it just comes out of nowhere.
I knew something was gonna happen, but I almost jumped out of my chair.
Yeah, like I hadn't seen either the Thing, the new one or the old one, so it's really something is gonna happen, but you're not sure when or what, which just makes you do the waiting game.
Yeah, it's kind of like, who is it, or has it affected someone? Am I the only one not infected yet? It's like that's the feeling you get in the both movies.
Yeah. Also, speaking of like the female characters, when they finally did get to the alien spaceship towards the end, and Kate fell down into the ship, I really had a glimmer of hope that they actually would kill her. Because just in hopes that they would kill the final girl trope, like, here we dangle this final girl, whoops, we dropped her, like, and just make the guy the final person to fight and survive.
Yeah, I can't remember what his name was, but he was the Thing.
Yeah.
Spoiler.
Yeah, it felt like that would be a power move.
Yeah, I didn't say anything while we were watching the movie until we have finally finished it. I was like, yeah, did you see the scene? They have a really weird angle where they film him in the car on their way there. Or car, like the mini tiny fucking tank truck they drive. and you see his earring. And as you learn through the movie, the alien can't
reproduce. Reproduce inorganic materials.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, an earring is most often silver, gold, or some kind of metal. And I mean, he has an earring in his left ear. And if you don't really watch that closely, you won't see that it's missing, giving away that he is the alien. And I was like, at first I was like, yeah, is she the alien? Or what's the fuck going on? When she takes out the flamethrower thing, I'm gonna put it in the back. Because I mean, if there's alien loose and you assume you have just killed it, I won't fucking put away my weapon. I'm gonna fucking sleep with that for like 2 weeks.
True though.
But I do agree, like, I also kind of hope that they would kill her off, but I believe, now we're talking about, oh no, wait, no, that can justify it, because I was gonna say, we're talking about the 1980s, where, like, Final Girls was a big thing, we're talking about 2011. I can't justify this.
Nope.
Well,
no one can.
God damn it.
The final girl trope is part of the slasher subgenre, is it? So
yeah. So, like, what I mean is, most horror movies has a girl that is the final girl. There's not a lot of movies where the final girl is a man.
Yeah. Final boy.
Yeah.
Zombie make a movie.
I will either make a movie with a final boy, or I'll have that final girl and kill her off just because.
But then you will end up with a final boy or a movie where the killer is the winner.
Why not?
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
But we're getting off track.
Yeah.
Like we always are.
Yeah,
hey,
this is the podcast of how to make my movie.
The longer the episode, the better. Just saying. Anyways, Josef, did you have any more notes? Because we cut you off.
Yeah, I actually do. You know the shopper scene when they are about to leave? They put a guy in the back and about to leave, and Kate finds the metal from someone's teeth, and she runs out.
What do you metal guys, filling.
Well, what do you guys think about that scene?
I didn't really get that it was a teeth filling. What it looked to me was like bullets, so I didn't really understand it. Because I just thought, like, it was the monster that pushed out the bullet. But I did have a suspicion, considering one of the guys that was in the copter was a guy that earlier in the movie went away and was alone for quite a while.
Did you finger the right man?
I am not sure. I am never sure about these things.
Oh yeah, you mean the guy who went out to get...
Yeah, but because the whole... And this is a spoiler, by the way. Because the whole scene is set up that you are supposed to think that the guy who's sick, or like in a state of shock, that he is the thing. Much... But then it turns out the other guy in the back is the thing.
Yeah, it's like he's just suffered real traumatic trauma with his friend being killed right in front of him. And he is like... I did think that he was the guy who was infected. And then all of a sudden, the guy sitting across from him just... Surprise! I
was actually surprised the first time I watched this movie. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, because that guy was the only guy that was alone and not surrounded by people in the slightest, because he went away earlier. So I had my suspicions that it was him when you had like the idea that the thing were on the copter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, it probably. I mean, if they wouldn't have been turning around to land again, that thing would most likely have gotten out of Antarctica and started slaughtering the whole world.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just speaking of like that scene, like I'm not a dentist of any sort, but I'm not sure how many people have fillings. But it felt like a lot of people in that place had like visible fillings of some sort.
Mm.
And it felt like very improbable that so many people would have fillings in one place, and that would be like the telltale.
Well, they were
But I'm- again-
they were hardworking people in their like 40s and 50s,
Yeah.
and this movie takes place in the early 80s. So,
Yeah. True though.
but yeah, I don't know. Speaking of checking mouths, that's my next scene I want to discuss a little bit. What do you guys think about that scene?
Well-
Yeah, where they're checking each other's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the scene where I fell big time for Lars when he just started pointing. I think there was a flamethrower or a gun. Like, öppna käften på dig. It's just
Yeah.
it just felt,
Öppna käften för helvete!
I mean, I think there is where Lars stole all of our hearts.
yeah. It just feels like it just becomes funny at a certain point because you can actually understand what he's saying.
Yeah. Well, the people overseas wouldn't understand what he's saying, but because we're Swedish, we
Yeah.
kind of understand. Oh, well, we understand some of the Norwegian. Their talking
some
Swedish.
words are
Yeah.
exactly the same in Swedish and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, what do you think? What do you guys think about the scene? Do you think it's suspenseful or crap or?
I just had a suspicion that at least one or possibly two people would be without tooth fillings to be able to point at them like they are possible things to get the camp in more turmoil, and so to no, he's the one. No, don't trust him, and whatnot.
Yeah, the paranoid feeling.
And whatnot.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the paranoid feeling of the movie. Huh?
yeah,
Paranoid.
because that was very much what the scene was building up to. Yeah. Help me.
You liked it, basically.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
To
What do you think about it, Angel?
I thought it was okay, like not too suspenseful or anything else. Like, I don't know. I honestly don't know what I think about it. It's like one of them is gonna be it, and bam, boom, something's gonna happen.
yeah.
I think this scene is this movie's answer to Carpenter's movie scene where McCready's, he stands around with a flamethrower and heats up the metal to push it into the blood.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's probably the straight answer to that.
Yeah.
I guess like if you compare the scenes, I think Carpenter's scene is more suspenseful than
Yeah.
the 2011 one.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like where I stand in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I totally agree. But we can take.
Yeah, we can talk
yeah.
about that when we go to the other movie.
Yes. But yeah, I actually think this is one of this movie's stronger scenes, to be honest, because you got this suspense that you know something is about to happen. You don't know who the thing is, and like you said, Zombie, Lars is probably my favorite character in this movie. He's he's the outsider of the group.
Yeah, we haven't
Because
mentioned it.
He doesn't understand English.
Yeah, exactly. Since we haven't mentioned it yet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
he's basically the Clark of this movie. Clark is the dog guy in Carpenter's movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Like,
he's basically
yes.
the outsider of the group, and I feel for him basically.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
And he got a big bushy beard, and he's a badass. So
Josef has a hard thing for
Well-
beards, okay?
well, Tagger isn't here, so I gotta step in, do my part.
Okay, yeah, I see. But I mean, I think all of us can agree that a good beard is a good beard, no matter who it's on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I believe like Lars and the dog guy from Carpenter's movie both has the same job, quote unquote.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now that you say it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Were you about to say something, Zombie? By the way, I cut you out.
I don't remember anymore.
Okay.
Because fuck him, he's just a kid.
Yeah.
The last scene I want to briefly discuss is the scene when Edward, spoiler again, is turning and starts to morph together with Adam.
Oh, that's a great scene.
What do you guys think? Would that scene be better with practical effects, or was it, at the top of its game, so to speak, with the CGI?
Like, I feel like just that one moment when they started to come together was the best part of the CGI that they did, because it looked the cleanest, and it felt like the character or the monster at that point did have like actual mass to it. But I'd love to see it in practical effect and see how it would have turned out there too.
Yeah.
So I'm a bit cloven at which one would have been better, because I don't have any comparison. But considering it, yeah, I don't know what to say.
Yeah. Okay. Angel.
Yeah, I do agree. Like, it looks really, really good when they start morphing together. But I wouldn't mind seeing it in the way they did Carpenter's. Because, I mean, it can go either two ways. It can be even better, or it can suck dick. This is like
50-50.
Yeah, there's no in between if it could be just as good or anything. Because I mean, the effects from Carpenters are great, and I think they're great in the 2011 one too. But seeing it more generic, I guess you would say it, would probably just make it even better.
I also, I just personally think that, like, considering what Joseph said earlier, that they came out of left field with deciding on the CGI, that if they had decided from the very first beginning to use CGI throughout the movie, it could have been better because they could have taken more time and effort into the CGI to make it look cleaner, better,
Yeah, exactly. That was what I was thinking. It stood out somewhat in a couple of scenes. You can really tell, oh, that's CGI. But if they had more time to refine it and make it,
Yeah, because CGI can be used very good and make look believable. Just give it time and not rush it.
Yeah, exactly. But I would have loved to see this movie with like 98% practical effects and just CGI where they absolutely must use CGI. I would have loved to see that. But unfortunately, the studio executives thinks that CGI is better. So
it would have tied the movies that little bit closer to each other than they already are.
Yeah.
But it would have made it like better to watch one after another if they had the same effects and make it like, I don't know, it would have made it like just.
I actually think people would have, or at least fanboys of Carpenter's movie would have liked this one more if the effects were practical, like they're 99%. I lost my thought there. But yeah, I think people would have appreciated this movie more if the effects were more or less only practical.
Yeah.
And it would have, made the movie look more like an 80s movie than what it looks like.
Yeah. It would have made it fit into the other movie better.
Yeah.
And made it actually. I don't know what I was going with that thought anymore.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
We are just losing thoughts in the void now at this point.
Anyway,
So,
the last thing I had on my list, and we've already discussed it briefly, it was the climax of the movie. Do you guys think that everyone should have died? Well, except Lars. Otherwise, they couldn't had tied this movie to Carpenter's movie, of course. But do you think everyone should have died, or should?
Fuck yeah, I do.
Okay.
Because the thing they're doing here is like Lars goes and fucking disappears, and we think he's dead. Okay, we put that in a corner. Then we have the final girl, who lives. Where the fuck is she when Lars is all the way over there and he's like crying in his corner?
yeah,
It doesn't make sense.
I agree. It would have been better if they just killed everyone off and then at the end, not knowing that this is like a prequel, that it would be like, everyone's dead. Psych, Lars is here.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, if she's alive, then why hasn't she told anyone about it? Where the fuck is she? Did she go and freeze out in the snow somewhere? Because the fucking gas tank was empty or something.
Yeah.
Well, the guy she's with says something about they're 100 miles or something from Russian station. But I don't know. Perhaps the Norwegian team didn't know about the American station, because apparently the American station isn't that far from the Norwegian station, because they never mentioned the American station.
In Carpenters they say that there's about an hour between the bases by helicopter.
Yeah.
That's maybe why they didn't mention it, because maybe they can only access one another through helicopter, maybe by mountain or something. So the only way you can go like with a vehicle is the Russian base.
Yeah, I wasn't thinking about that. Yeah, you could be right about that. They also say in Jesus, we're really going into Carpenter's movie. We're talking about this one. They also say in Carpenter's movie that the Norwegians blew that alien spacecraft up around the ice around it or something.
Yeah.
They could have made the ending a lot darker with Kate dying in the explosion.
Yeah. Kinda also tying it to the Carpenter movie in that spoiler about Carpenter, where they decided to blow everything up.
Yeah.
You could have tied it to that to have like a similar ending where instead of the home base they decided to blow up the spaceship.
Yeah. Or like the site where they found the spaceship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's everything I got.
Any background?
Yeah.
I got a ton of it. Do you guys have anything?
I have 3 small things.
I have like one thing, and that's a very small thing, and it's the guy in the movie, the one American guy.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah. He is
the guy with the earring.
No. He is the one that goes to Kate first to get her to the site.
Adam.
Yeah, Adam. He who fuses with the thing.
Yeah.
I recognized him the moment I saw him, simply because my mother watches a lot of NCIS Los Angeles, which he is part of that series.
Huh. I didn't know that.
I can pull my 3 small things. The movie was nominated in 5 categories, apparently. For Best Makeup Horror category, Best Film 2011, and this is, I think, a Norwegian name, so it's gonna be hard to pronounce. I think Matthew something.
The director.
Van Heininger Jr. This is like Norwegian. And the last one was Outstanding Animation 2012. So that's the thing. And then it's the thing with the Norwegian guy. I don't remember his name. He's a ginger. He has a beard. Who doesn't have a beard? That plays has taken over a Swedish cop movie series that no one cares about. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, they didn't win any nominations, by the way.
Okay.
Yeah. Continue.
Okay. The budget was 38 million. It grossed almost 17 million in the US. It grossed 31.5 million worldwide. So it bombed at the box office. Basically, it flopped, unfortunately. John Carpenter was enthusiastic about making a cameo appearance, but scheduling conflicts prevented him from making one. Okay, here's a really long one. The creature effects were filmed primarily with cable-operated animatronic robots on the director's insistence, since it would improve the performances of the cast if they saw what they had to react to. CG images were planned to be added as elements to the animatronics, such as tentacles, like I said, if it couldn't be done convincingly. However, after the initial test screenings, the studio ordered the replacement of most animatronic scenes by full CG models. Creature effects supervisor Alec Gillis would later say that seeing the finished movie gave the special effects team a quote-unquote postpartum depression. Although most of their designs had survived, their animatronics were so worked over that they felt that they could have just done the designs and stayed home. I actually saw that interview with him, and he looked pissed. He directed the crowdfunded movie Harbinger Down from 2015 with Lance Henriksen, with only practical effects in response. Have you guys seen that movie?
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I've actually seen it, and it's pretty good. It's basically the Thing on a ship, basically.
Okay.
You guys should check it out. It's actually good.
But to inflict there, I would agree. Like, if you work your ass off to do all the effects by pretty much hand, and then they're just like, yeah, you know what, we're gonna use CGI instead. I would understand if someone is pissed about that.
Yeah. The film was originally set for release on April 15th, 2011. However, the studio demanded extensive reshoots, like I said, which included new CGI effects, re-editing scenes for a possible PG-13 release, and an entirely different climax and resolution. Because of this, the film had to be pushed back to October 14th to allow more time for reshoots. Okay. I'm just gonna flick this in here. The Thing movie with a PG-13 certificate. I mean, that wouldn't be The Thing. Like, there wouldn't be no gore, none whatsoever, no blood, no guts, no nothing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, talk about ruining a movie.
It would pretty much be any kill would be off screen. You would probably not see the monster at all.
Yeah. I mean,
that's destroying a movie.
Yeah, that's destroying a movie. It would have. Oh, Jesus Christ! It would have bombed so bad at the box office. Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, I think her name is, the girl who plays Kate, also appeared in Live Free or Die Hard, the fourth Die Hard movie. A Good Day to Die Hard, the theatrical cut of that movie. The director's cut doesn't include the scenes with her. 10 Cloverfield Lane, awesome movie. Death Proof, Quentin Tarantino's...
Wait, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Yeah, 10 Cloverfield Lane.
Isn't that when they are in a bunker?
Yes.
Yeah, I agree. That one was good.
Yeah, that's just drenched in suspense. It's really, really fucking good. She also appeared in Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof, the Black Christmas remake from 2006, and Final Destination 3. Christopher Hivju, the guy who plays Jonas, Also appeared in The Fate of the Furious, Fast and Furious 8. And he also appeared in Game of Thrones as Tormund Giantsbane. And like you've already talked about a couple of times, Angel, he also appeared in the Swedish police thriller movie series Beck as Steinar Hovland.
Yeah, that is exactly the guy I was talking about.
Yeah.
Beard.
Creature effects supervisor Alec Gillis, the guy I talked about earlier, has worked on a lot of other effect-heavy movies such as Aliens, Leviathan, Demolition Man, the first 4 Tremors movies, Jumanji, Mortal Kombat, Hollow Man, and Starship Troopers. That's everything I got for this movie.
1.5 hour in and we haven't even started on the second movie. My god.
So, let's slide into The Thing from 1982.
Okay, so here is the trailer for John Carpenter's The Thing.
Mayday. Mayday. Anyone hear me? This is U.S. Station 31. You read me? Found something in the ice. We need some help down here. Can anybody hear me? We found something. We found something. We found something.
12 men have just discovered something. For 100,000 years, it was buried in the snow and ice. Now it has found a place to live. Inside. Where no one can see it, or hear it, or feel it.
I know I'm human. Some of you are still human. This thing doesn't want to show itself. It wants to hide inside an imitation. It'll fight if it has to, but it's vulnerable out in the open. If it takes us over, then it has no more enemies. Nobody left to kill it. And then it's won.
You guys gonna listen to Gary? He can beat one of those things!
A U.S. research station, Antarctica, early winter 1982. The base is suddenly buzzed by a helicopter from the nearby Norwegian research station. They're trying to kill a dog that has escaped from their base, and after the destruction of the Norwegian chopper, the members of the U.S. team fly to the Norwegian base, only to discover them all dead or missing and the whole base in ruins. They find the remains of a mangled body that looks as though it was once a human, which they bring back to their own base for further study. Soon the US team realizes that the remains is of an alien life form the Norwegians found in the ice. A life form with the power to take over and assimilate into other life forms, including humans. A life form that's still alive, a life form that wants to find a warm place to hide, and in Antarctica, the warmest place is in the body of man. Okay, should I go first, or...?
Yeah, go ahead, go first.
Okay. John Carpenter's The Thing. His remake from 1982 on the 1951 movie The Thing from Another World. Which is both are, well, all three of the movies are based on the short story by John W. Campbell, Who Goes There. Has you guys read it or listened to it?
No, but
Not yet.
I plan on actually trying to find it so I can listen to it.
It's up on YouTube if you want to listen to it. It's up there in its full length if you want to listen to it. I've listened to the short story a couple of times, and I also seen the 1951 movie. Not going into that movie, but that movie is almost more of a. It's not a slasher movie, but it got some of the tropes in there, you know, and it got some of the universal monsters tropes as well, you know, the Frankenstein monster, basically. But John Carpenter's The Thing from 1982 is more true to Campbell's to Campbell's short story. And what do I think about the movie? Okay, so this is hands down one of my all-time favorite horror movies. Period. If I'm gonna be perfectly honest, I actually think this is better than John Carpenter's Halloween, which is probably controversial among some people, but that's my opinion. It's definitely up there on my at least if not my top 5, it at least is up on my top 10 without a doubt. It's well acted. The effect still holds up very, very well. I was actually a bit surprised how well they still holds up even to this day, almost 40 years later. And I actually don't think it has lost any of its power since I saw it for the first time over 20 years ago. I think I was like 8 or 9, perhaps 10 when I saw it for the first time. The whole movie is just, you know, drenched in suspense, paranoia, and claustrophobia, and that's what makes the movie tick, at least for me. You know, it's just almost 2 hours of suspense and disbelief. When you watch the movie for the first time, you really don't have a clue what's going to happen or who's going to turn out to be the thing. And yeah, I just think it's a very, very well made film. And, you know, what else is there to say about it, really? It's been dissected over and over and over, like Halloween and The Fog and other Carpenter classics. But yeah, I love this movie, and it's thumbs way up from me. Definitely, it's a 10 out of 10. If I could give it a 11, I would have. What do you think about it, Simon? It was the first time you saw it, right?
Yeah, it was. I did really like it. The effects alone, you can see that a lot of effort and love went into the movie and the effects in it. Because, like, The Thing, it sure was ugly. Like, not in the effects way, but just in the monster kind of way. It sure didn't look... it was nasty. And you really, along with the characters that became very paranoid of who was who and how do you find out, because of the time slip in the earlier movie, it felt like the teeth checking happened like very early in the movie, which made when they started to check with the blood very late. So a long while in the movie you were very unsure who you could trust and who was who. And it did really make the movie suspenseful, and it's a definitely watch again. And although I did have some moments where I didn't really catch up to what happened, but for me, at least, it feels like a movie you have to watch again to see the full picture with like you would have watched it again either way, because I really like movies where they are in the middle of nowhere and stuck with said monster or killer with no way out.
Yeah. John Carpenter's The Thing got that slasher vibe to it, because it's a group of isolated men fighting this life form, and trying just to survive, and that's basically the slasher formula to a T.
Yeah, and the fact that a lot of the characters is alone at least one point. You can never be sure who is and who isn't, because that's what the other movie didn't really have, because they were like most always together very much, and had a few moments where they weren't together, which this movie did have, where they separated or got separated. And
something that not breaking you off here, but something that struck me this time when I was watching these back to back were that in Carpenter's movie you can't really tell who's gonna be the Thing, but in the prequel at times you can basically just point, he's gonna be the Thing.
Yeah. I lost my train of thought, but
sorry.
I would give this movie like 9 out of 10 dynamite sticks.
But like you said, Zombie, this is a movie you have to watch multiple times, because there are things in this movie, and I know it by experience, that things that you don't pick up on your first watch, but when you watch it 5, 10, 15 times, you start to pick up things and like, oh, wait a minute.
Yeah, it's a very good watch. Angel, what about you?
I must agree, it's a favorite. It gets 8.5 dynamite sticks. I enjoy it. It's my second time ever watching it. And I remember the first time I was watching it, Josef asked...
Sorry, did you say it was the second time you saw it?
Second, yeah.
Wow, yeah, I actually thought you'd seen it more.
No.
Oh, okay.
Like Josef, when he lived here, he came in and like, hey, I'm gonna watch this movie. Do you want to watch it with me? I'm like, sure. Movies are good. And we started off with the 2011 one. And I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty nice. And I remember there's like, when we started watching Carpenter's one, because it's old. And, I mean, the effects are outdated technically and whatnot. And honestly, like, I was just a little shit back then. It was like, I couldn't appreciate a good old movie for what it was. Now when I'm an older shit, I can really appreciate old movies. And after dating someone who is a major sci-fi fanatic, I enjoy sci-fi movies even more. So, like, it's just honestly great. Lost train of thought.
But you're basically echoing what both me and Zombie said then.
Yeah, the only thing is, I will not agree on this being better than Carpenter's Halloween. I think Halloween tops it.
I can see where you're coming from, but the thing is, I didn't even intentionally do that.
The secret puns.
Yeah. Is that Carpenter's The Thing? I don't know. Even though there are scenes where nothing's really happening, it's still got that atmosphere of impending doom and the suspense. Well, Halloween it got that as well at parts, but not as intense as it is in The Thing. I think The Thing is more defined. I think The Thing is a more intense movie than Halloween is, and I'm not saying that in any bad.
Yeah, no. Well, the difference is, The Thing is a sci-fi horror where they are secluded in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
While Halloween is an slasher, a stalker slasher, basically down the street.
Yeah.
So they are on different levels, and you can't compare them. Unless like small things, but I think both are great works. It's just I hold Halloween a little bit closer to the heart than I do with The Thing.
Yeah, but you've seen Halloween a lot more times than The Thing.
Yeah, I think I've seen Halloween like 4 times.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm trying to not do the pun again.
The problem with having a title.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a huge fan of horror movies that takes place in secluded or isolated places, and Halloween takes place, downtown basically. But with that being said, even though I think The Thing is a better movie than Halloween, I'm not saying Halloween is a bad movie. I love Halloween. It's one of my favorite slasher movies. But The Thing is just a notch over it. So it's very, very close to each other. But The Thing takes the cake, basically.
Yeah, so I rated it and everything. Favorite scenes and characters! Woohoo!
Yeah, let's go! Go team! We can do this!
Go
with the power of friendship and love!
Go fuck yourself!
Happy, joy, happy,
joy. Oh, no, I'm going on. I'm burning on like extra energy that I actually don't have. We started this really late. So, favorite scenes and whatnot. I have one. Because, it's a really good movie. And I didn't really have time to, I want to talk about this scene, or this scene, or this scene. It's just like, just watching it, really. But I have one scene, and that's in the beginning when Lars, he takes up this little grenade thingy, and he accidentally throws it over his shoulder.
Yeah.
And he's smart. He's like, okay, I'm gonna yeet the fuck out of here. I need to go to safety. And his pilot is just like diving after it, trying to get a hold of it, and blows himself up and somehow the helicopter.
Well, it blew up like 2 feet from the helicopter, so it wasn't that surprising.
Yeah, I was like, I thought that scene was hilarious.
I think it was fire grenade or something.
Yeah, it might have been something like that.
But because they're in Antarctica,
Yeah, that's true. Basic grenade would probably not even work.
But on the other hand, why were a group of scientists holding on to fire grenades in Antarctica? I mean...
well, considering that there's ice and there's snow and there's cold outside, and if they're gonna be digging and whatnot, they need heat and they need some kind of explosive that will react even if what's it called? The temperature is so low that, like, let's say a normal grenade wouldn't work. Now, their choice of using grenades, that's a bit weird. Since McCree and the other guys, they have dynamite, which is more logical, but, you know, a polar bear might come and you have to explode it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that scene is kind of funny, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's like, he's picking up the grenade, he's about to throw it, and he's like, oops! And he just runs away.
Yeah, and think like this. A grenade, when you pull the pin and you let loose, I believe you have 5 seconds to throw it before it blows. That grenade was a really slow one. Because I'm pretty sure it took him at least half a minute to find it. And then another 5 for it to blow. Anyways, zombie.
Like, in the beginning, my only thought was like, man, Lars became old fast. Like, that chase with the dog must have, like, lasted years. My god. What has it done to you, Lars?
Lars, my beloved, how did you turn so old? Yeah, but honestly, he kind of looks like he's, what, like 25, 30 or something, 35 in the 2011 one, and then you see him in the 82 one, and he kind of looks like he's suddenly turned like 55, 60.
Yeah. My favorite scene in the whole movie is the scene when McCree does the blood test. Because
that's my favorite scene of the entire movie as well. It's just so goddamn suspenseful.
Yeah, because unlike the 2011 one with the tooth, you have like, it's a maybe that they may be the thing, because the possibility is maybe they simply don't have fillings.
Yeah.
But in this scene, there will be a most likely definite answer, because either his theory is wrong and it doesn't react at all, or which was the most likely answer, it will get a very violent reaction to it, and that's a definite like point towards them being the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do agree. It's my favorite scene in the whole movie too.
Yeah, and how everyone like, get me out of this chair, or get me out of this sofa, man.
Honestly,
it's so unnecessary.
When the blood reacted, we watched it pretty late. So sitting there like slouched back, chilling, like you do when you watch a movie, and like I knew, like, yeah, the blood is gonna react because it's a classic, like it's something you remember. And then when it happened, I was so sure that I was gonna fall out of my chair and pretty much shit myself. Because it just happened so suddenly. I'm like, God damn, I'm a pussy.
Okay, I'm gonna be perfectly honest. I've seen this movie well over 20 times. But that jump scare actually got me last night. I almost flew out of the couch. I knew it was coming, but I don't know. I'm turning a
It's
sissy
very
on.
effective.
Yeah, it is.
Shit.
But it's like there's no build up to it. It's just there, and that's how you do a jump scare.
Yeah, it's like a bitch slap to the face.
Yeah, it just comes out of nowhere. That's how you do a jump scare. James Wan has a lot of learning to do from Carpenter.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like also it's a jump scare that actually has meaning to it. It's not like an unnecessary someone like boo or anything like that.
Yeah, there's a consequence of the jump scare.
Yeah.
Which comes directly after it.
Mm.
And then after they dispatched of the threat in that scene, the testing continues, which I love, because it's just not that there's a jump scare, they dispatch the threat, and then they just move on. Like, you know, it's a continuation of the situation, of the situation they are in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's like they never put the guard down. They continuously... Is someone still...
the thing.
Like yeah, exactly. Is something still a thing? Is someone still infected and whatnot? Much rather than let the guard down. It's like, oh, everything is going to go back to its normal thing. And I think they show off that they are isolated a little bit better because of the paranoia. And I mean, we have seen signs that McCree, that is doing the tests, is a bit of an alcoholic. And I mean, alcoholics, they are even more paranoid than other people.
Well, I didn't pick up that he's an alcoholic, but I picked up that he likes some whiskey from time to time.
He's also a sore loser.
Yeah, he is. What is it say? Shitting bitch.
Yeah.
To the chess computer. But what I love with this movie is that you can tell that the characters are starting to be more and more paranoid during the running time of the movie. Like, you know, they start somewhere and they end somewhere.
Yeah.
Did you guys, by the way, pick it up that the characters that are the Thing has changed clothes?
Not really.
I did not, actually.
When you rewatch this movie, look for that.
Because I don't know what you mean, because when McCree and I don't remember who it is, they go out to look at something. I think they're going up to his watchtower.
Yeah.
And then one of the younger guys comes back with McCree's name. Like he has this jacket with his name on it. And he says that he found it stuffed into something.
Yeah, can't remember what he said exactly, but I know which scene you mean.
Yeah, so now when you're mentioning it, I do see what you mean.
I know that in one of the scenes, McCready is talking into the tape recorder. He says something about this thing destroys the clothes when it takes over.
Yeah.
So it has to change clothes.
Mm.
But,
I get what you mean.
Yeah. So when you guys rewatch the movie next time, look on their clothes.
That's an interesting detail.
Yeah. It is.
Zombie, do you have any more scenes?
Not at the moment that I can think on the top of my head. No.
Yeah, by the way, guys, in the end of this episode, we should have
You cut off.
Yeah.
Oh, here's the, like, you know, you try to be funny for a second, and it's like, it's like you say the joke, but no one gets it. But instead, your mic cuts out. You fucking cunt.
It's like throughout your rant, your mic still cut you off, and it made your point even better.
Oh, fucking whore. Okay, anyways, then Joseph, favorite scenes, favorite character, tell us.
I only got 2 seasons. Once we have already discussed one of the seasons, but there are a lot of scenes in this movie that could be dissected and discussed. But this movie is one of those movies that it's been dissected to death, like Halloween, for example, or Friday the 13th. Everyone has seen this movie, and if they haven't seen this movie, why are they listening to this? But another scene I really like is the scene when it's directly after the scene you mentioned, Egil, when the younger guy comes back with McCready's name tag, and McCready has broken into the building again, and it's, you know, they try to attack him, and one of the guys just lays down, and it seems like he's gotten a heart attack or something. And then they try to use a defibrillate, a defib on him.
Defibrillator.
Yeah, thanks. And the doc is like, clear, and he's about to push them into his chest, and his stomach just opens, and you know, nom nom nom.
I like that scene.
Yeah, that's it's horrific at the same time as it's somewhat funny.
Yeah.
That's also like the scene with the blood sample in the blood testing scene. It just comes out of nowhere. There are no build up whatsoever. And then all of a sudden, bang! It's just there. And that's how, like I said, that's how you do a jump scare. That's how you scare the viewer.
Yeah, like the fact that they got away with it more than once is.
It's just because of the
great.
atmosphere and the overall paranoid feeling of the movie, you know.
Yeah.
Just that you have something else that is happening at the same time. Like, they are very much trying to save him, and in the other scene you have a very paranoid McCree and very pissed off other people that wants him to be wrong.
Yeah, especially Childs, played by Keith David.
Yeah.
Who's, he's a really great actor, by the way. But yeah, the other scene that was just a scene I took out of my memory now. The other scene I got is the ending, the absolute ending. And spoiler! If you haven't watched the movie, why are you listening to this? But yeah, you've been warned. The ending, and I'm not talking about the final quote-unquote fight between McCready and the largest thing, creature. I'm talking about the last, I think it's 2 minutes or something.
Yes.
Just after he has blown the building up, and Childs just appears, and McCready asks him, "Where were you, Childs?" And he answers that, he saw, I can't remember, was it Blake? I think.
I think so.
Yeah, he tells McCready, I saw Blake. I thought I saw Blake run into the storm, blah, 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 and I got lost in the storm, blah, 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 blah. And then he asks him, well, what are we gonna do now? Well, let's just sit here for a while and see what happens. And then McCready gives him the bottle, and Childs takes a sip of it, and McCready starts to, chuckle a little bit. What do you guys think? Was it alcohol in the bottle, or was it gasoline?
Somebody go first.
Shit, dude. Shit, dude.
Okay, do you want me to go first?
Yes, because I am very unsure. It could be either one.
Honestly, the way they kind of do build up to the whole thing with, we have to kill it even if we die. I mean, they do the whole thing with, like, if you see, like, one person dies rather than the whole world. So I am...
McCready says that at one point at the end of the movie, no matter what happens to us, we can't let that thing leave this place.
Exactly. So I'm pretty sure that what's in that bottle is not alcohol. I think it's something that can kill the thing.
Yeah, because McCready is making Molotov cocktails like a minute or two before the final fight.
Yeah, and something I'm thinking about is that he gets more and more and more paranoid all through the movie.
Yeah.
And I mean, if you're that paranoid towards the end, I'm pretty sure that you won't just, like, sit there and do nothing. I think he would, even if, I don't remember his name even, if that guy wouldn't have come back, I think McCready would have killed himself just to be sure that the thing doesn't escape Antarctica.
Yeah.
If he would be saved.
Mm. What do you think about
Really good point. I really now see that's a really good point. I thought it was either like in the same spirit of what Angel said, like that, or just like they had all this, like, whatever happens, we are not gonna come out of this alive.
Yeah.
And it may just have been either some kind of poison or just like simple alcohol as like the last sip for death to numb the pain or the cold or anything like that. Because now that the camp's gone, you're not gonna survive at all, whatever happens. So I'm a bit cloven, but I think more on the poison of any kind. The way you put it with McCready. Blah. MC Square is he is very paranoid.
Yeah.
So I can see totally him doing some kind of gasoline or something of the like in that bottle.
Something I want to bring up about the end scene. This is a fat ass spoiler. See, if you haven't watched it. Honestly, if you haven't seen the movie, go watch it. Come on.
Yeah.
Something I didn't know until I was looking up trivia about this movie was that the guy that comes back from the blizzard there in the end, I did not know that he was infected until I read that. I was like, oh, whatever. Because I didn't think that far. But he is the thing in the end.
Well, I'm really trying not to do the pun, but sorry if I do it. The thing is that John Carpenter has confirmed that one of the guys are the Thing in the end. But he hasn't confirmed that Childs is the Thing. But there are several things that point at it. For example, he vanished, and another thing is that people on the internet, at least, discuss this ending still to this day about what was in the bottle. Was it alcohol or was it gasoline? Since McReady were making Molotovs just moments before the whole station blew up.
Something I read more on that page is apparently the sign in Carpenter's movie that you can see who's infected is by looking at their eyes. And I mean, the old version, like, I believe that only came out on, like, VHS. So, I mean, you could probably not see it on that, but if you watch on a Blu-ray or something, you're apparently supposed to be able to see who's a Thing by looking at their eyes.
Huh. I never knew that.
So if they have if the internet is right, I would probably say that Charles is infected actually, and like go with that. But who knows?
I think Childs is the Thing. I'm pretty certain about it. Especially if you count the PS2 and Xbox, the original Xbox game, The Thing, into the lore. Because that's a follow-up to this movie.
Yeah, and why would the Thing blow up the whole camp if it was MacReady?
Well, they actually say that. I think that's MacReady who says it. That it wants to, because it does something to the generator just because it wants the whole camp to
it wants to freeze down the whole camp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He said something like it wants to sleep now until it can get rescued.
Yeah, because it knows that it won't get out of the camp now, so it will want to freeze again.
Yeah,
before,
true. They didn't have
wait for rescue.
They didn't have the technology to be able to build a new spaceship.
Well, it was building a new spaceship, but MacReady blew it up with dynamite. But yeah, what do you guys think about the ending? Like overall, is it suspenseful? Is it shit? Is it?
I think it leaves it leaves you unknowing of who is, even if you have very various ideas and such. You are unaware, are either of them infected, or both infected? What is gonna happen? You are left in that unknowing space. In these kind of movies, I like being left in that unknowing space because it's just add to the suspense that has been throughout the movie, and the suspense never leaves. It just continues. So, yeah. I really like the ending.
Yeah. What do you think about it, Angel?
I think it's fucking great.
Short and sweet.
Yeah. The suspense is there, and I mean, you can't... Well, you could if you really tried to. But you can't really get a sequel out of it. I don't know, it's a good end of a good movie. It's just all that I think. So, how about you?
I love this ending. The ending to Carpenter's The Thing is just perfect, because like I said, it leaves you with this ominous feeling, and it's a lot darker than the ending, even though the ending in the 2011 movie is somewhat dark. It can't really be compared to Carpenter's movie's ending. It's pitch black dark.
Yeah.
Just waiting for death.
Yeah. Have you guys played the Thing game that's sort of a sequel to this movie?
No, sadly not.
No, because it wasn't really that interested in those kinds of games.
Yeah, well, I actually played it back in the day when it was. I don't think it was, out of the store new, but I played it like a year or two after it was released, and it's actually really good. The story in the game is basically that you play as one of the soldiers that gets sent to this camp, the American camp, because there's been radio silence for a couple of weeks, and you find, of course, the camp destroyed, and you start to encounter this life form. And do you guys want to play through the game, or can I give a small spoiler of the ending?
You can. You may.
Honestly, you can spoil the whole game, really.
Okay. Well, I don't remember the whole game, but in the end, you are you encounter a shopper who picks you up, and you start to fight this gigantic thing monster. And at the end, very end, the cutscene at the end, the pilot says something, and then he tells the player that he's MacReady. So if you're gonna go with the game in mind, MacReady survived. But on the other hand, but both the 2011 movie and Carpenter's movie and the game, well, perhaps not the game, but at least the two movies can stand on their own legs. It doesn't need a sequel, nor a prequel, nor a continuation in any sort. But both of them works really well on their own terms.
Yeah. Indeed.
But yeah, that's everything I got to say about John Carpenter's The Thing.
You haven't told us who's your favorite character.
Yeah, I gotta go with MacReady. Without a doubt. I like Kurt Russell. The guy who playing him.
I actually forgot to say mine. And it's a combination of MacReady, because, he's the final boy here, and he's pretty fucking hot. Not gonna lie.
I thought you were gonna go with Jed, the wolf dog at the beginning of the movie.
That dog is fucking gorgeous. I could go on and on about that dog. So yeah, I'm gonna drop 3 here. It's the dog, it's MacReady, and it's the dog handler. In that order.
You went with you went with Clark because of the beard, I guess.
Yeah, and he liked dogs, and I like dogs, and I think we could have pretty children together. Okay, so let's jump into trivia so it won't be too long.
Somebody didn't say his.
I believe it was Lars.
Did he?
Yeah, Lars is always favorite, but that's without saying.
Lars is best boy.
But if we're gonna go with the people that had more screen time in this movie, I'd say McCready and the guy that went bonkers very early in the movie.
Do you
and
mean
got, timed out in the shed?
Yeah, the doctor there.
Yeah.
Honestly, I have a favorite scene with him. Like, they go out and check on him, and then they go back in, and they go out checking him, and they pull up this little thing in the door. And all of a sudden, you see, like, a hanging, what's it called?
Noose?
Yeah, a noose. There's, like, I actually lulled a little bit over that. It's like, because you don't expect it to be there. It's like, lol? Anyways, so we want to pull this movie even further. Do you mind if I start with trivia?
No, go ahead.
Okay, the cast actually almost died twice during this movie. Once the cast was assembled, they headed off to the set in British Columbia. After flying from Los Angeles to Vancouver, and then on to Prince Rupert in British Columbia, bad weather forced the cast to take a 6-hour bus ride from the final leg of the trip. Driving in the snowy darkness, the bus came close to sliding off one of the side of the road. And then we have a longer one here. During the movie's chest chomp scene, the Norris Thing's head famously separates from its body before growing legs and attempting to scuttle off into hiding. Rob Bottin, the prop guy, used highly flammable materials to create the gooey, gross out interior of the creature's neck in the scene. However, that provided a bit of a problem when Carpenter decided that for continuity reasons, some flames needed to be included into the shots. Focusing in on the head as it separated away, McCready had just torched the Norris Thing's body with a flamethrower after all. A fire bar was lit almost without thinking, and the room erupted in a giant ball of flame caused by the flammable gases present. Thankfully, no one was hurt, though that the Norris Thing model created for the scene was basically destroyed. Buttin had been working on it for months. So, yeah. Don't play with fire, kids.
Like, all your hard work just going up in flames.
Yeah.
That's so sad.
Okay, 2 more. One is a little bit shorter and one is a bit longer. Carpenter himself also featured in the film and has made a habit of appearing a bit briefly in the majority of his movies. In The Thing, he plays one of the Norwegians seen on the footage found at the deserted and destroyed base camp. It's a blink and you'll miss it role, though. I didn't know this until I read this.
No, I didn't know that.
Same.
This part was actually bigger, but I just cut out this one for The Thing. They talked about The Fog and a different movie he's also been appearing in that he's been making. And I'm pretty sure that's why he wanted to appear in the 2011 one too, since he briefly had something to do with it. In the confrontation between McCready and the Palmer Thing, actor Kurt Russell came surprisingly close to very seriously injuring himself. During the scene, MacReady fights back against the alien by throwing a stick of dynamite in the direction of the Thing. What most fans probably don't know is that real dynamite was used on the scene.
I knew that.
Yeah, the thing that happens was because of the pressure wave that came from the dynamite, he flew backwards and thankfully didn't hurt himself that bad.
Yeah.
I guess go big or go home.
Well, that's filmmaking for you in the 80s.
Yeah, exactly. That was all my trivia.
Do you have anything, Zombie?
No.
Well, since this movie is so well known and big, there are tons of extras on DVDs, Blu-rays. There are tons of information out on the internet, so I was thinking that I could just mention a feature I actually saw before I rewatched this movie, and well, it was a rewatch of this feature as well. I've seen it a couple of times before. It's called The Thing, Terror Takes Shape, and it was released back in 1998. And it's basically interviews with some of the cast and some of the crew, especially I can't remember his name now. The effects guy got a lot of screen time in that behind the scenes documentary, where he actually mentions that part when the body prop exploded, and I think it was one of the actors who also mentioned that they almost crashed with the bus that you spoke of. You know, I think the documentary must have been recorded sometime during 97, perhaps 96 or something. At least partially, because Charles Hallahan is interviewed in it, and he died in November 1997, sadly. I think he died from an heart attack or something, like, or if it was complications of some operation or something, I don't know. But he sadly passed away in November 1997. But he's in it. But that's all I got. But yeah, the Thing, Terror Takes Shapes, it's interesting. And it's pretty interesting to see John Carpenter 20 years younger as well. He doesn't look like he's about to die any day.
Yeah, suddenly he drops dead from nowhere. It's like, oops.
Yeah, well, the guy is starting to get up there in age, you know, so...
Yeah, you know, you are too, so...
Hey!
I'm not old here, so...
Yeah, you are. Hey, you're you're starting to get up in age.
No habla English.
But you don't habla English.
Yeah, I believe that was everything we had for...
yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, this
a long...
Yeah, this became a pretty long show.
Yeah.
Episode,
at least 2 hours.
Yeah.
So,
at least.
Boys and girls, men and women, whatever you want to be, this was a double feature of The Thing from 1982 and 2011. And do any one of you want to introduce the next thing?
Yeah, the next episode will be The Stepfather from 1987, the semi-slasher-ish thriller with Terry O'Quinn. Yeah.
And we're doing that as a Father's Day special, since we couldn't find... Yeah, since we couldn't find an actual Father's Day movie.
Yeah. And one last thing. We are playing out with the theme song of John Carpenter's The Thing, because it's
fucking great.
Yeah, it's quite ominous, at least.
No.
Yeah, and why not?
Yeah. I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
Shush It You is John Carpenter's movie. It's fucking great. It's in his movies, so it's great.
Shall we say goodbye to the good people?
Yeah, thanks for listening, and we'll hopefully see you in the next episode. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Catch you in the next episode. Bye.